Hola a todos, hello everyone. I am Giovanni Spinal from Medellin, Colombia. For today's stream, our guest is Toby. Hello there, Toby.
Hi, Gio. Yeah, I'm the squad leader of the art team, and I'm from Australia.
Okay, thanks, Toby. So in our last stream, we were talking about boats. As you may imagine, there is a lot of art involved on the boats system. Toby is going to tell us more about it, but the focus will be on the blocks that are used to build the docks. So before we start with Toby, I would like to do a small recap. So um, we are going to have streams every week where we talk about some features. As I have mentioned before, it is important for us that you understand that there may be some modification for those features because they are mostly work in progress. I would also like to thank everybody who took time to fill out the Google Forms that I sent about the economy viewer. We got a lot of nice answers there and a lot of ideas on the top of my mind. Some ideas that I read on the document was that it would be nice to display the storage of the stores. I completely agree with that. I think it's a nice idea. Also, remembering the filter previous setup, I think it's also a nice idea. We are going to discuss that on the company and we'll check what of these ideas are possible to implement. Um, Considering that in mind, we are also going to have another QR code for today. So you can see a QR code in our screen. And also Dennis is going to share a link with you in case anyone want to give us opinions. But now the opinions would be for the block system. So that would be all the recap. So Toby, tell us what do you got for us?
Yeah, you can see my screen
Yeah.
now, Gio. Cool, great. Yeah, so this is the concept art that Rob's done for the docs. So this is kind of where it starts. He goes around kind of sketching what sort of blocks we might need and thinks about how they're going to be used in different ways. I really like with like any concepts that both Rob and Malenko do. They put a lot of detail into the like stuff around what they're actually concepting as well. I think it kind of helps flesh it out and gets them imagining what sort of stuff they might be. So, including stuff that's not even in eco yet, but maybe one day. Seagulls. I like these guys. Little kite. Even a submarine. One day maybe. And Rob's also got this folder here that says maybe, but it's turned off by default. So I guess if I turn it on, oh, yep, no, we don't want to see that. Yep, we're not adding planes to eco. Yeah. Cool. So that's the concept. I might switch over and show you how these blocks. We've got them kind of in a work in progress state. So I'll switch across here. And the way you kind of start building with these blocks, like they're not very organized yet and they don't have icons, so I might struggle finding the right block, but it's that one. So you kind of got these support columns that you can put down. I'm just going to go there. So you'd place these down out in the water. I'll just show you on land for now, just so it's easier to see. And something we're trying to think about with this set is we want to make these rotatable. So there's a big problem with building bridges and things like that. You could never really get the top of the block to look right. Like, you know, it only works east-west and not north-south. So making these rotatable was something we definitely want to do. We want to give a lot more control of the blocks to the players. So, and that's how this one sort of works. It still has rules, so it can add this these middle parts in. Like this. One sec. Yeah. And then we've got these other platform bits here. So it's kind of one of the tricky things with blocks. Like if you want to make it very easy to build with, you've got to use a lot of rules to get the auto building to happen. But also it kind of like takes away a lot of control from people. Like you might get in situations where the block is like just it's impossible to get the exact block that you want in the position. So, but the downside is once you start doing that, you end up with a lot more forms to get all of the shapes you want. So I'll get a ramp. So these are still really hard to place. We've got a new interaction system coming, right?
Yeah, we are also working on a new interaction system. The idea is to improve. I mean, not only building system, but generally how you interact. Because what happens when you try to interact with something is that it evaluates like all the interactables, all the objects that are there that you may want to interact with, and it takes a decision. But the system is kind of old, so it's being improved. And as you can see, in current version is a bit difficult to place the ramps.
Yeah, that's always been a tricky one. So that's exciting. Yeah, and so we've also got these pillar blocks. So these are rotatable to go around the edge. I mean, this is all work in progress, and we're just trying to see what we can build with them and what other things need to be added. Rob's been having a very full-on week with it, trying to get all of the rules to work, but still keeping the control. So yeah, we've got these junction pieces, so these can go on top. Oh,
Yeah, we actually have the first question about them, Toby. Can we use the pillars that we are showing to build bridges or bridge, or are only those for dogs? Oh wait, it seems like we lost Toby audio. Uh, oh, let me check. Yeah, can you check you're not? Mm, oh yeah,
well, can you hear me, Gio?
yeah. I think it's fine now. I'm sorry
Okay.
about that. It seems like like you made, and you have a famous streamer right here. Hello there, Gatsy Mexican.
Oh, Gassy. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
Taking a break from the role play?
yeah. It's a bit
Yeah.
more intimidating doing a stream with someone famous on the stream. But yeah, nice. I'm sorry that we have some issue with the audio. Okay, we were we were asking about if we could use those pillars on the bridge. I'm sorry that you answered, but the audio wasn't working.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was saying, absolutely. Like, you can kind of. I'm imagining this being used all over the place. So, like, for decks around, like houses, walkways, bridges, that sort of stuff. Like, we originally designed it as like a nautical sort of set, but definitely it'll be useful in other places. And I'll show this little bit over here that I was building. So this is kind of how we imagine, you might lay out a little thing. You got your going down to your boats. You've got your moorage posts. These ones down here, like if in the concept art, there's these blocks that are got barrels on them, so they're kind of like floating platforms. That might be something we do with these ones, so that they look like they're kind of just floating. Maybe when they're in water, they show that barrel. So that'd be kind of cool. But also, yeah, you can do a bunch of other things with it as well. So just playing around with this like little deck thing that's like the support column in the middle with the light on it. So there's a bunch of possibilities.
Yeah, we have some additional questions, Toby. So the
Yep.
first question is actually one that I also have asked Toby a moment ago. Can cards go up in on these ramps because this lobby is like really steep?
Yep. They can't. We did test that. You definitely can't. But we want to add like maybe a 4-to-1 ramp to this set. Like it's still work in progress. So this is just kind of like the initial thing. But yeah, I think a 4-to-1 ramp is probably a good idea. Maybe something that works in the same way as the Ashlar ramps.
Nice. Yeah. That's as we mentioned at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, this is a work in progress. So we still have some issues
Mm,
like cards can't go up right now, but we have considered that, and it's something that is going to be considered for the actual feature. There is another
yeah,
question, and is how many forms does the peer have? And do
hundreds. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's probably going to change a little bit, but I think the thinking at the moment is this might be kind of distributed into the hewn log block set, and then potentially also for the other forms they'll start getting so the other block sets will get these similar sort of blocks, because it's something I'd like to do is like kind of unify the blocks a little bit more, because it's kind of different depending on which block you're building with. They kind of behave a little bit differently, and there's a lot of inconsistency with the way they're set up. So, and they were done at different times as well. So like over the years, there's early versions, and then they've gotten more advanced as we've gone along. So we want to go back and polish all that stuff up. And if you like in the form, if you want to leave any comments about that, like I know there's a lot of that around already, just in GitHub and on Discord and Reddit and stuff like that. There's a lot of comments about block sets, but if you want to add it into that form, we'll kind of collate everything together and come up with a plan for what we want to do
yeah,
to get that polished to them.
yeah. About the question actually, the question ended up mentioning that the existing blocks have fewer options, but yeah, as Toby mentioned, it's something that is being worked, and feel free to give us more feedback about the existing blocks. That's why we set
Yep.
up this Google form. We really appreciate the community feedback. So yeah, if you want, if you have some ideas, just feel free to share us with us, and we can discuss it on our meetings. Thanks, Toby.
Yeah. So we've also got a couple of other little decorative things that we've been. Hang on, I'm going to hide this thing. These are just some little decorative bits and pieces. They've only just been kind of added, so they're not polished and lined up properly, and there's some occupancy issues, but these are purely decorative, so you can use them to kind of decorate your wharf areas. Got a bunch of these different colored, like sort of hanging buoy things. This one's kind of interesting. It's like a fish drying rack. It's kind of just decorative at the moment, but maybe it could have a function. Seems like it could. It's got fish on it.
That's nice. I'm sorry, now that you're talking about decoration, there's a question a bit related to that. Are we going to have different wood colors for hardwood and softwood?
Yeah, so this is a very placeholder texture at the moment. Like you can see, this is just gray, but it will be integrated into the block set. So it should look more like the hewn. I mean, the hewn log is something we want to revisit anyway, so maybe hewn log will be brought up, and this will be brought to kind of match the hewn log. But also hardwood and softwood, yeah, they will have their own different textures to match those sets. Yep.
That's nice. You can
I
also
love it.
show us how it looks under the water.
Oh yeah.
There is actually one comment that the PropView display could be used for fish drying, for example. Would be a nice
Yeah,
use.
absolutely.
So yeah, I love how it looks under the water.
Yeah. There's a lot more sort of detail to this block set than in some of the other ones, especially for if this is going to be hewn log, then it's adding a lot to that set. So we just have to make the rest of the hewn log set look better.
Okay,
we also need to fix this.
yeah. So I commented that on the Twitch chat that we still have some small issues with water, but yeah, they are still being working on. Yeah, we have some additional questions, but I think that they are more for Jens. I think he's answering them on the chat.
Okay.
Check. The one is
I do it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
One of that is if boats and dock system work with rising water. And okay, James start with the with the other question. So let me check. Okay, the question was: an industrial barge has a crane. Does that mean that it can be used to build on water? That was the question, and Jen's answer can be found on Twitch. But just in case, he mentions we have some design plans for extending more functionalities to the industrial barge after the 10 version, but right now it's simply a different and more efficient barge made at later stages. I mean, so right now it's not done, but it's being considered. So the other question that could be for James is if the boat and dock system work with the rising water system, or I mean the influence of water in general. I don't know, Toby, if you know the answer, or if we should ask Jens.
Yeah, I'd say it probably won't. Like they won't rise with the water levels. They'll need to be rebuilt to match the water levels. Same as like your houses and other buildings and things like that. Like if the water level rises, then that's going to affect your infrastructure at the in the docks as well. So
okay, I get it. Yeah, I mean, we don't have any system like implemented for like reacting to water different that just having water, but yeah, so it's something that may be considered in the future, but it's really, that sounds like something really difficult to implement. Have never worked with the water of Echo myself, but yeah, I'm aware that it's one of the more complicated subjects there.
Yep.
Okay,
it can be tricky. You need to talk to Jens if you want to know about water. He's an expert.
Yeah, I agree. So do we have more decoration blocks that you want, or building blocks?
Yeah, actually have. Yeah, I've actually got two more things to show here. They're not placeable on water yet, but they will be later on today after the stream, I guess. But these are for like navigation. So these are buoys that will go out in the water. We've got this one here, which is the plastic one, and then we've got a steel one, a little bell. I got little animations playing for the bobbing, which doesn't make a lot of sense on land, but you get the idea. They're very cool assets.
Yeah, people really like them on the chat. That's they look really beautiful. I mean, it'd be nice to see it on the water, but yeah, it's nice. We have another question, a couple of questions. Will it make sounds? Maybe do you have something in mind about the sounds of the I don't know how to pronounce that. The voice.
Yeah, it's a buoy, or a buoy, I guess. But yeah, it should make a sound. I think there's a task for that. I'll make sure, but it definitely should make a little sound. Should be cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, because it already has the bell there, so it would be nice to include a nice. We have a different person for the audio, so yeah, we need to escalate that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think we all agree that I insert would be nice. I we have a couple more questions. One would be if we have plans to get more rounded shapes or more blocks coloring.
Yeah, block coloring is something I'd really like to do. And I know there's some ideas around on how to do it, but there's no actual plans, like concrete plans on how we're going to do it just yet. But I mean, that's another one you can add to the survey, so sort of build some support for the case to work on that.
And what about, are there plans for including rounded shapes?
Yeah, I'd say that there's no plans at the moment, but when we're looking at the rest of the block sets, um, I think that would be something we'd want to look at, as adding a bit more, like moving a little bit away from the cubey stuff. So you can see even with this one, it's got like a little bit more fidelity, and it's got rounded corners. Or do you mean more? Or maybe they're talking more about like the brick.
I'm sorry, yeah, finish the question I have. We have a couple of questions additional.
Yeah. So maybe this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like the bricks are a really interesting set, and I think it would be good to kind of look at the other block sets and think about what we can do to kind of bring these more closer together.
makes sense, makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that's a nice idea. We have another questions. For example, are lighthouses planet?
Lighthouses. You can make your own lighthouse. We just need to have a like an actual light for the top. Yeah. Not planned, but we should do that. That'd be cool. I'd like
Okay,
to.
okay, not planned,
Yeah.
but a nice idea now that has been mentioned. Uh,
Yeah.
how about the boys? They also ask how many colors are we going to have available?
These you're talking about these ones on the wall, or
Yeah, yeah.
so these ones over here. There's 4 colors at the moment, and you make them in the glassworks, I believe, because they're made of glass.
And what about the voice, the ones that go in the water? Are they going to have more color options? Because for the glass bulbs, I know that we have 5
5.
options. Yeah.
Yep.
And what about these subjects? Are they going to have more color options?
These ones aren't. Something that'd be cool to do is just be able to change the color of the light on it, so that you can set up your navigation channels. But there's not a plan for that just yet. But actually, if I interact with this, will it? Yep. Yeah, there's nothing there yet.
Okay, we have another question, Toby. If you can check the chat, I just added to the Discord chat.
Get more.
I'll read it. Could we please get more morphs for tier 4 ashlar materials instead of something so boring like tier 2 bricks?
Gotcha.
So is there something that maybe that you already had in mind, or
So you want to add more to this set? Yeah. Well, I think like we're gonna have to revisit this, because like I'd like to get all the feedback from the community on what they want, including comments like that, and then we'll kind of get together as a team and do a bunch of building, and come up with a plan for what we want to do. So yeah, I'm gonna say no plans at the moment, but that sounds like a good suggestion.
You have something more to show us, Toby, about the vlogs?
I think that's kind of it. Like I've showed off these blocks. Like there'll be more work done on these, so we might share some more stuff as it gets further developed. But yeah,
Well,
I think it's going to be a good set.
that's nice. We are also going to have a different stream with the art team to show how the avatars are coming up. So that's going to be one really interesting. Right now for the doc blogs we are finished. So I'm going to check if we have additional questions. Let me check the chat.
Yeah.
There is one question that I just saw. Can animals like sharks get on the dock? I think that's something that hasn't been tested yet.
Yeah.
Then if James have any idea of how that's going to be handled, but I'm sure that yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say probably that will be the case at the moment, but yeah. But yeah. Cool.
Okay, there is another question. Will block snapping be something that will be adding for the 10th version?
Block snapping. Well, I'm not entirely sure what the question is asking.
Yeah, I'm not sure neither, because I mean the blocks already snap based on the position. Do you is there more information? Maybe the person that made the question, because I'm trying to find it. Sure. I think that would be a question that we need to read again if there is more context. I think that okay, the person that asked mentioned that sometimes they don't snap. Well, that seems like a bug, maybe.
Yeah, I wonder if it's referring to like sometimes it is very difficult to get it to line up exactly which one, especially with ramps. And if you're trying to place things on top, sometimes that's got a bit of trouble. So I'm hoping the interaction fixes will kind of address that. But...
Yeah, that's right. We mentioned at the early in the stream that the interaction system is going to be reworked, and we hope that it really improves how easy it is to make interactions inside the game in general. That includes the building system, but we are also open to feedback. So any opinion related to this, please let us know. I see that we have already some questions that maybe Toby will know. For example, are we going to have slope corners and different kind of angle roofs? Let me. You can check the question in Discord just in case.
Yeah, I can see that. Half slope corners. That's a good idea. Yeah. Again, I'd like to get some kind of input from the community about how to address adding more and more stuff to this screen, because I think maybe having like drop downs from these different forms that have access to different types maybe is an option, or because it's starting to, like, if we're adding more and more different forms, it's going to get quite complicated and difficult to use in these screens. So it's something we want to think about for sure. But that's a good idea.
Nice. So I think that would be all the questions. Let me check again just in case. And as we mentioned, we really appreciate community feedback. So anyone that can take the time to fill the Google Forms would be really nice for us to know how to. I mean, what priorities try to have based on the actual feedback from the community. So yeah, that would be all the questions that we have. So that would be all for today. Thank you, Toby, for let us know how the dogs are going, And yeah, nice models. I really love the concept. And well, as I mentioned, we are going to have another stream with the art team to check Avatar. So yeah, please be, be. I hope that we have a lot of people for that. That would be all. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Thanks. Yeah.